Harrison accused him of drunk driving Friday morning. Story twists may surprise you. Beyond the glamour of TV and the grind of negotiating, has faced some dark monsters. I no longer call him Dad. Corey Harrison said that when he exposed a crime no one in America had ever imagined, what Rick Harrison, his father, disclosed, not only startled the public, but also revealed a hell no one imagined existed behind a popular TV show. Not a scam. No personal scandal here. A sophisticated criminal network with hidden underground chambers, bodies displayed like historical artifacts, and a silent web of crimes in the heart of Las Vegas, perfectly concealed by stage lights, media fame, and millions of fans' blind trust dates back over 2 decades. What motivates a son to alienate his father to reveal the truth? What tragedies might turn a family show into a crime scene? And most importantly, are you ready for the complete truth? Fall of porn television legend. The reality TV show Porn Stars, about a Las Vegas gold and silver porn business, was more than fascinating, a cultural phenomena. The show started in 2009 and peaked at over 7 million viewers per episode, becoming one of History Channel's 2010 SES. Viewers tuned in to see vintage items, assessed and enjoy the family environment. A place where 3 Harrison generations debated, negotiated, and shared history. The show's soul was Rick Harrison. He represented the American dream with his keen negotiation abilities, antiquities expertise, and ability to tell engaging stories about each item. A man who developed an empire via knowledge and diligence while being poor. He was more than a businessman. By telling stories, he made history emotionally engaging. Rick, his father, the elderly man, and his son Corey symbolized genuineness, family, and knowledge transfer. Thus, Rick Harrison's life sentence without parole for illegally possessing and displaying human remains and other serious crimes shocked the show's audience and the television industry. This controversy went beyond personal. The brand collapsed after a decade of community trust. However, the worst blow wasn't from the courtroom. It comes from the family, where viewers once felt loyalty and connection were unbreakable. Corey Harrison, Rick's son and on-screen sidekick, for hundreds of episodes, broke his silence in a dimly lit, silent conversation. He denounced his father as pure evil and refused to defend him. A harsh, bitter statement that prevented reconciliation. This revelation changed porn performers' public image. Once innocent memories of funny video, historical lessons, and interesting negotiations were now cloaked in mistrust, disdain, and indignation. Fan forums swiftly moved from discussing the origins of an old coin to asking, "How long have we been deceived?" In addition to tangible evidence from his home, storage facilities, and pawn store, Corey's comprehensive testimony helped convict Rick after more than a year of inquiry. Corey testified and declared himself a living witness. Someone who had lived in this darkness but lacked the fortitude to confront it until the reality became unavoidable. That changed the opinion of this case from high profile. The spotlight hid the truth, and those previously trusted stole trust in this modern tragedy. Like all terrible tales, the trial didn't end it. It started when a son revealed the past, from quiet to breaking point. Upon Rick Harrison's verdict on a February morning, one of the darkest in American reality television history, all eyes were on Corey Harrison. He skipped court. He did not speak out, post on social media, or interview on fan channels. Corey was gone. It was unnerving to be silent during a media tempest in every venue. Rumors spread rapidly. Was Corey silenced, creating legal defenses to protect himself? Or worse, was he in this criminal network? Could a man who had stood by his father for hundreds of incidents and inherited the pawn shop be innocent? Theories thickened. Continuous investigative articles were published. Porn stars' old images and lost scenes were examined frame by frame. Internet sleuths wondered if Corey seemed uneasy. Those sneaky looks at his dad, those random arguments, all mute pleas for aid. Yet, Corey stayed silent despite the noise. He was found alone in a downtown Los Angeles hotel 4 days after the trial. No help, bodyguards, or media. Even from close pals, he ignored calls. Paparazzi waited hours outside, but only caught his room's ever-closed curtain. Though not hiding, Corey didn't want to be found. The hush ended on day 5. Instead of a press release or social media post call, Corey contacted Elijah Rodas, a freelance documentary filmmaker who had worked on early Pawn Stars episodes and was one of his few trusted sources. "Time. I don't want to die with this in my thoughts," remarked Corey. Elijah hadn't to inquire. They met in a Hollywood Hills Airbeam property. No crew, no lights, just a tripod-mounted camera, an unopened bottle of whiskey, and a guy eager to unveil secrets that would shatter America. Corey talked about himself first, not his father. "I've been silent too long," he whispered hoarsely, avoiding the camera eye. "I realize that makes many see me as complicit. It may. A cool admission, like pulling off a bandage from a decaying sore, without tears or explanations." Corey recalled his first suspicion. When he was 16, during a late-night search for an old baseball card collection, he found a chained filing cabinet. Teenage curiosity overcame caution. He broke locks. Old black and white photos were within, most yellowed. Most dead corpses lie unmoving, eyes open, skin waxy and pale. Set up like art exhibits. He recognized some of the photos' pawnshop customers. Corey didn't say anything because he didn't want to believe what he saw, not because he didn't know who to tell. He locked the cupboard again, as if to stifle the screaming recollections. In later years, he saw more oddities. Midnight suitcases hauled inside the back door. Even though he was the manager, shop rooms were always locked. Arguments between his father and strangers. Acting like spies, but dressed like business people. Rick always told him, "Don't worry, son. You're too young to understand that history." Corey suspected, but then dismissed it as paranoia. His father was quirky, but he couldn't be the monster Corey had imagined in his nightmares. Years later, the evidence was undisputed. In his father's car, he found a bag with handwritten descriptions and images of bodies. Like a historical record. Another time, he found a basement chamber with medical lighting and the strong scent of formalin, a tissue preservation agent. After an FBI raid, Rick's voice was found on videotapes in secret storage containers with human remains. Corey could no longer be silent. Still, he said nothing. Only when his father wrote him a letter. 5 handwritten words. "Always knew. Stay quiet." Though brief, the words struck Corey's heart like a bullet. The sense of kinship, blood, and the dim hope that his father might repent. Rick wasn't sorry. He was merely mad that Corey knew and worried he might speak. That night, Corey stayed up. Next morning, he contacted Elijah. The interview lasted 57 minutes. No effects or editing. One man facing his truth. He said he wanted to call the police, but dreaded being labeled a crazy son. He kept a 200-page notebook of every weird incident he had seen over the years, with photos, notes, and hair samples. The FBI has that journal, a key piece of evidence in convicting Rick Harrison. The video's shocking findings and Corey's face captivated viewers. No, not the happy big hoss from TV. This gaunt man with heavy eyes and a mouth that seemed to apologize to every victim with truth, not words. And then America realized this wasn't just a criminal probe. This was a cultural reckoning. A son had spoken. He wanted to condemn his father and break a decades-long falsehood that millions believed. A confession, surprising revelations, ration. An unidentified account on a file-sharing site shared a brief clip of Corey Harrison's nearly hour-long interview, which later leaked. The public expected a son to express his disappointment and grief at his father's demise. However, what they received beyond any television scriptwriter's expectations. What Corey said wasn't supposition or outrage. It included evidence, recollections, and terrifying details of a crime, nurtured and executed as reality TV. Corey first suspected his father wasn't who he thought he was at 16. Not because Rick did anything, but because of an accidental discovery one night after closing the shop. Corey found a chained lockable filing cabinet in an old storage room. A rare case. Since most shop records were jumbled and unimportant, nothing required security. Curious, Corey broke the lock using tools. Some faded black and white photos of bodies were within. These bodies were staged, unlike forensic images. Near a grandfather clock, a woman lies on an antique bed. A man kneeling in prayer in Civil War-era military attire. A tiny child sitting among ancient toys, her empty eyes wide. Corey recalled being astonished by what he saw. I assumed these were phony images from my dad's art preservation effort. But not the photographs caused the dread. Corey felt it when he closed the cabinet. I felt like I had entered a door with no way out. After that, there were several minor, unimportant items that most people would overlook. But when Corey put them together in his journal, they were horrifying. His father regularly went out at night with a shovel and gloves, pretending to be treasure hunting. But the treasures never appeared. The shop's security couldn't enter Rick's private room. Rick simply replied, "That's the archive," when Corey questioned. Corey couldn't define the smell, but he couldn't forget it. It wasn't decay, but the overwhelming antiseptic smell of a biological facility. Corey admitted that unintentionally opening Rick's suitcase in his SUV's trunk was the turning point. New high-resolution color photos of corpses in professionally lighted settings were within. Each photo had scribbled remarks. Rick's unique script. Acquisition, shoulder joint adjustment, 4. 1997 non-cell skull integrity check. Preservation of femur, historical importance. The doubt was gone. His father was doing something beyond history and collecting. This preserved people, not stuff. I didn't call cops. Not told anyone. Just closed it, drove home, and slept poorly. Lowering his voice, Corey said, saying anything would cost me everything. My family, work, and possibly freedom. He lived two lives for years. The joyful, open son on TV, and the mute witness, constantly expecting the worst. Only after FBI raids on Rick Harrison's storage facilities did the hush stop. Over 38 human remains were found at Harrison Asset Protection, LLC warehouses, some in industrial freezers, others in glass cases, with serial numbers, dates, and personal items like watches, necklaces, and notebooks. Some were decades-old missing folks. Others were unnamed kids. All were on display, like evil museum specimens. The FBI investigated family connections after these undisputed findings. Corey was first to speak. His 10-year journal was handed up.